All right, we're joined by UFC welterweight Stephen Thompson, who's still without a fight. Stephen, how's it going, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good here in good old Simpsonville, South Carolina. I'm sitting out actually just outside the school, so just pulled up.
We talked like what, probably like 4 months ago, probably around then, and it was trying to get you a fight. It was after Masvidal Covington. Is that's when we talked? Because that's when you wanted the Masvidal rematch. Like, are you surprised it still haven't got a fight since then?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's kind of it is. I've been wanting to fight. Of course, I had a collarbone issue that was bothering me for the longest after my last fight. It's actually an old injury I had when I think I fought Matt Brown. And then, like a few years back, Chris Weidman dumped me on my head and tore the cartilage in my collarbone. And then my last fight, same injury, messed it up again. But that took a long time. But yeah, the Masvidal fight was something I really wanted, and kind of going back and forth. And I think the UFC was talking about maybe Shavkat or so. He just beat Neil Magny. But I'm like, look, I was like, UFC, give me somebody that's going to want to strike with me. I've haven't turned down the last two guys who are grapplers, one of the top grapplers in the welterweight division. Didn't turn them down, and I was like, give me a striker. So, we were looking at Li Jingliang, but I know he's got a fight coming up. Kevin Holland, we didn't end up making that one. I wanted to fight on the Madison Square Garden card.
Mhm.
Wanted to fight on a big card, but I think he wanted to fight a little sooner, so I think he got to fight a little sooner. So looking at Michel Pereira, I think that would be an awesome fight. He's an up and coming, definitely down to bang it out and strike. I think he called me out too on social media, so I think that would be a good fight for sure.
Yeah, before we get into that, I want to get into that Shavkat thing. Like, I saw there's rumors that the UFC wants to make it. Like, to me, I think that fight doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, you're a guy that you deserve to fight some of these. Like, you've said no to basically, you've accepted basically every fight. Like, I think you have the right now in your career to say, I want to strike, especially after your last two. So, like, is that a fight you're really not interested in at all?
Not at all, man. And which I don't understand. The UFC, like I said, they gave me two grapplers, and it doesn't make sense for me to face another heavy grappler. Like, come on, man. Let me work on my craft a little bit more, um, especially when it comes to the wrestling. But yeah, they were pushing it, but it just doesn't make sense. And neither the fans don't want to see it either. Fans are like, dude, just give Steven a strike. Somebody that's going to strike with him. But it is what it is, and I'm that's just not a fight that interests me at this point. So Michelle Pereira would definitely be a fun one. That one interests me for sure. He's exciting. I'm exciting, and my last few guys that I've had strike, we've won fight of the night. We've won bonuses. So I think that would be a fun fight for sure.
Yes, like style wise, like does that like how hard is that to train for him? Because it's not every day you see guys doing like somersaults and jumping off the cage and stuff,
No,
striking.
no. I mean, who can simulate that? Which partner do I have here that can sit there and cut backflips mid sparring session? You know what I mean? Yeah, that would be a tough one. Which makes it interesting for sure. He's an up and coming guy too. I mean, he just beat Ponzinibbio. I know he's looking for a fight, but I think that would be an exciting one, especially on the MSG card. Come on, that would be great.
Yeah, and he's been on like a really good run, like since his that Conley and Diego fight where people kind of rid him off. Like I think he's won 6 or 5 in a row and like beat some good guys like Chaos Williams, Nico Price, Ponzinibbio. Like, what have you kind of made of his run in the UFC?
You talking about Pereira?
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. Yeah, I know he got beat by that guy. I think it was a last minute fight. He was a
Mhm.
155er, came up to 170. He ended up beating him, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was close. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
he did lose that fight because
He
he
did lose
fought
that
in
fight.
Vancouver. Yeah.
That's right. But yeah, he's been on a tear since then, and he hasn't done a lot of flipping. So I think he kind of smartened up a little bit. I was like, all right, it's kind of tiring going out there doing a ton of flips. I mean, he's not afraid to bounce off the cage or anything, but he's gotten a lot better, and fought some really tough guys. And he's always fun to watch, which interests me. He's very exciting to fight. I think both of us out there at the same time would be fire.
How would you kind of see that fight playing out then?
I think I would. I think it would be a good one. He's a big welterweight, He cuts a lot of weight. He's a big welterweight. He walks around fairly heavy. I know he's going to be a big, powerful, strong guy. So I definitely got to work my angles and work in and out, but I think I could put him away.
And then you kind of mentioned there, like MSG, that's the card you want to be on.
Yeah, man. My last fight was at Apex, and I want to fight on a big card, and I've always done well at Madison Square Garden. Always put on a show there. My last 3 fights. So I think it's coming up. I'd love to get those fights in. In November would be awesome. So it's just like the perfect timing.
If you don't get MSG, like I imagine it has to be in front of fans for you. Like you probably don't want to go back to the Apex.
Yeah, I mean, I love fighting in front of the fans. It's always a blast. Just being there and feeling the energy of everyone, and just the energy around the fight itself with having fans around. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
And then just a couple more things on the welterweight division. Like obviously a big change with Edwards being the champion. What you make of that fight and that kind of knockout? Because I was watching with a bunch of my buddies at one of my friend's house. I'm like, it was after like the 3rd or 4th round. I'm like, yeah, this is exactly how I thought it was going to go. Like Usman just kind of pushing him against the cage and winning the fight that way. Then out of nowhere, Edwards lands that head kick.
Oh my gosh, man! It was amazing. It shows true discipline, in Edwards, right? And true fight, and fighter in him, because he didn't give up, which surprised me, especially in the 1st round. Ended up taking Usman down, which hasn't been done, right? Ended up taking him down, controlling him, mounted him, took his back. I was like, man, I thought Edwards was going to go out there and crush him, but then 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, it was all Usman. It was the normal Usman that we saw. The pressure, the grind, the takedown. But I think what made the difference is that Edwards taking on defense played a big toll on Usman's energy levels in the 5th round. He kept getting back up. Usman kept shooting. And it might have to do with that or the altitude. I'm not sure, because in the 5th round, normally we see Usman coming forward and doing a lot of heavy wrestling. So I don't know if he was fatigued, but he kind of backed off a little bit. Maybe he thought he had the fight in the bag, wanted to take a little break in the 5th round. And, well, he shouldn't have done it out in the open. He should have done it up against the cage or on the ground. But, yeah, man. And in the 5th round, your reflexes start to slow down. You over-exaggerate your technique, especially your defense. And that's exactly what happened. It was just a perfect technique done at the right time. Edwards, they were in an open stance. Edwards had his right side forward. Usman had his left, which is perfect for a head kick, especially a back leg head kick, because you don't have to worry about getting over the shoulder. It's just straight to the head. And he kept feinting the jab, Edwards. And Usman was reacting to it, so he feinted the jab. And normally when you see a jab coming, you're expecting something to come after it. Normally it's just the 2. So that's exactly what happened. He feinted the 1, threw the 2. He parried, and I think just a little bit too far. When you watch the slow-mo, Usman tried to bring his hand back in time to block. I think right when it got to here, the head kick landed. So it was just it was just perfect timing for Edwards. And that goes to show, man, you cannot, even though you think you're winning, you cannot, you can't coast while you're out there. You have to be on point every step of the way. And that's what makes this game so exciting. Anything can happen.
And then it's like all signs kind of point to them just running it back. Like even though Masvidal's kind of wanted that shot against Edwards, like what do you make of him now? Like because that Leon fight is one that's could happen for years, and he kind of didn't take it, and he took like the Askren fight, took the Diaz fight, and now that Edwards is the champ, now it seems like he finally wants it.
Yeah, man, he's trying to run up to fight for the title again, and it's like, come on, man, like you had the shot, you didn't take it, run it back. You know what I mean? I mean, Edwards has been on a tear. He's been champ for a while. I think he deserves a rematch. I'd say run it back, man. I'd say run it back with those guys. But no, do I think Masvidal deserves the shot? No, not really sure when the last time he's fought. I think it was it the champ?
It was Colby in March, his last fight.
Oh, that's right. It was Colby. And Colby's been out for a while, but they say that Colby's ready to fight again. Obviously, after he, Edwards winning. So, nah, man, I think they should run it back. It should be fair for the champ, for the former champ.
How do you think that trilogy goes? Because obviously you think a lot. I think a lot of people are thinking Usman gets it back just the way the fight was going. But like Edwards showed, like in the first round, like he can wrestle with Usman, and then obviously his striking is probably better than Usman. And he has that power still.
Yeah, man. I think somewhere not in elevation would be awesome because you would get the maximum best fighters out of both. You know, fight somewhere maybe in Vegas or Florida, somewhere where the elevation's not affecting you. Because you can tell the last fights, a few fighters you could tell got exhausted real quick. If you're not prepared for the altitude, even though it's only 4,500 feet above sea level, it can play a toll in you, especially in your nerves. But when you have the nerves going. But I think, I don't know. Usman was winning, man, but you can't. That's just the thing. Like, if Usman takes the right time off and heals up from that head injury, because a big head kick like that, man, will take a toll on you. And if you don't take the right amount of time off to heal up, it could be dangerous for you. So I think he takes some time off, has that rematch. I think he can get it done. But the way Edwards was handling him in the first round and his takedown defense, we could possibly see the same thing going into the fifth round. Usman keeping the fight standing, picking him apart from the outside, and landing a big heavy shot. But on paper, it's Usman, right? It's Usman winning that fight just because he was winning the fight up until he lost. I've been there. Fighting Anthony Pettis, winning until he's just not winning anymore. It's just over. A fight can change just like that. So I don't know, man. I can't even pick fights anymore after watching that last fight. Can't.
Just last thing, like obviously Chris Weidman still hasn't come back. Like I know he's always in the gym. Like, do you think we see him again? Like, if we do, like, when do you think that it kind of is when he returns?
I don't know. I think maybe middle of next year. I think will be a good time for him to come back, get the right training camp, get in. He's the guy's always working out. He cannot not work out, and it's just not a part of him. So I think he's great. He's a big, heavy guy right now, very strong. He's been training. He helped me out with my last training camp. He's got some guys that he's been helping out as well. But hopefully middle of next year would be prime for him, and I'll be in his corner.
Well, Wonderboy, I appreciate the time. Thanks so much for doing this.
Anytime, Cole. I appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can do it again soon.